India have fought and fought and fought, but I think we can all acknowledge that today the series is just about over because they are 186 runs behind. Joe Root and England have battered India into the dirt. They fought and fought and fought India to a point, but it's hard to escape the fact that they will be staring down a 9th Test defeat in 12 Test matches. If you are not from England, yes, we will defend your honour and tell you why in this show, why Joe Root's runs don't count. We will do that on this show, okay? Now, if you are English, you'll also get some Arsenal Fan TV reaction style stuff from us, cry more, etc. Okay? Pezza, England lead by too many. Joe Root, amazing. What else is there to say?
Probably nothing. We could wrap it up from there if you like. Amid Aussie tears, Punter retired as Root ascends, Asian century on its knees. We forecast India's day of pain, and it came. Wheels come off kind of stuff. Boomer and Siraj limping. Siraj giving it the sue after, getting number 9 out with a shooter, having conceded 100. We've said Siraj is international twos. Well, if he's international twos, then what the hell is Shardul and Cambodge train on? This is where they're at. They fought hard for 3.5 tests, India. That's pretty good for England, but I'd be very surprised if it's not 1 foot on the plane kind of stuff. And I'm not talking about Rishabh's foot. So, yeah, it's time for the Root suck off, and I'm happy to give it.
Here we go, baby. Here we go.
I'm happy to give a Root suck off.
Get on your knees in the dressing room. That's an inside joke. One for Vish.
That's an inside job. So, yeah, if you're just catching up and you only get your cricket narration from here, Joe Root has ascended to the 2nd highest Test run scorer ever in the process of his sumptuous 150 at Old Trafford overnight. He overtook Rahul Dravid, then Jacques Kallis, and then our very own Ricky Ponting, and so magnanimously called by Ponting, and an act of class. A hard man on the field, and I wasn't sure about him on the field, Ricky Ponting, but a very, very classy man off it. Well paid, I'd imagine, and both things can be true at the same time. But
I'm sure he was flying business by the ECB into this game. I'm sure he was flying business in front of the plane. I'm sure he was.
Oh, turn left. Don't worry left. And really, I mean, we make meaning out of these things. We make meaning beyond like what I'm pretty sure players care about. But it was a really emblematic Root 100. I don't know in this decade whether you could get any more of a guarantee of a Test 100 than Joe Root day 3 Old Trafford Bazball surface against a team on the ropes. The guy just nips and tucks and dabs and flicks and accumulates masterfully at tempo while strumming his boundaries as well. And it was just another set your watch to it 100 from a guy that has found he's found the elixir this decade to convert his scores, and he's doing it in a compensatory way that is equal but opposite, perhaps even more so than his issues at the start of his career around making 60s and 70s. So he's just gluttonous for runs, and he's now picking up all the records to go with it, and he deserves all of it. All he can do is play what's in front of him. He does it excellently. Very few, if any, people in the game have done everything as a batter. There's an asterisk and a mark against every single player in Test cricket because that's what we like to do as humans. We like to chop people down. Root has those things as well, but he has a ton of runs. He knows how to make them, and he's batting as well as he ever has.
There is nothing like someone achieving something than for talking heads to then come on and sort of rank what it means and why certain things don't count. Now we do that outside of our own sport. We'll watch someone slug a baseball fucking 400 feet and be like, that's just a full toss. Can they do it when the ball bounces? Our sport's way harder. Yeah. We'll do that sort of stuff. I mean, it is nothing short magnificent, because whilst Joe Root's been scoring these runs, it turns out other guys have been playing the same games and other guys haven't been doing the same things. So that sort of suggests to me that he's above the other players. It's 21 hundreds since COVID. I mean, what vaccination did he get? Was he getting Moderna? Was he on the Johnson & Johnson one? Like, what the fuck was in that vaccine? 21 test hundreds since COVID. Unbelievable. You know, and now, of course, we turn our attention to the skies and we dream of Tendulkar's being surpassed. Like, when Tendulkar finished 200 test matches, 15,000, whatever it is, you're just thinking, like, well, that'll never be surpassed. And I don't think anyone thought if it was going to be surpassed, that it would be surpassed potentially like within one generation or 1.5 generations, I suppose. It's because he's now looking at, I mean, Atherton was talking on Sky and he was talking about, you know, if he does get there, it's probably, he scores 85 runs per test match. That's sort of the average amount of runs he scores per test. So based on that, he's looking at sort of between 20 and 30 more test matches, which is for England, who play about 12 or 13 tests a year, about 2 years, 2.5 years, if he continues on the same rate. I mean, if he's playing on these kind of decks and the sun's shining and he's still got that hunger and will and desire, which he appears to have actually gathered more and more as the runs have been churning. I mean, who amongst us wouldn't want to play cricket if you were the best player in the team? I mean, that's what we all dream of. Then maybe the untouchable god of Tendulkar might actually not only be touched but surpassed. I mean, you can dream it now. You can sort of see it. They've flown Ponting in for it, which was good, and get him on comms to do it. That's all part of the, you know. Ponting's had a tough week. 20 years since the 2005 Ashes, and you want to watch Joe Root surpass you. I mean, it's not easy for Punter. I mean, he has been flying business, let's be honest. He has been flying front of the plane, so, you know, that's... Yeah. But, fair fucks to Joe Root. He never looks like getting out, and unfortunately for him, even though he won't care about this, people on the internet will say, including myself, well, Steve Smith has scored 1,300s in England. And Joe Root 0-hundreds in Australia. So, you know, is this morally stuff, you know? Will we just forget this? Shane Warne was the best.
Yeah, mate, 100%. This is per Matt Roller, Crick Info. Shout out to Roller, one of the great cricket journos going around. Root's 2,512 runs behind Tendulkar, but for context, he scored 2,556 in his last 50 innings, dating back to Feb 23. Since England play an average of 12 to 14 tests per year, Root could feasibly overtake him by the end of 2027. And here's the thing, right? Tendulkar's a god. He was for us as a kid, and he did it against our boys. And we like to see people do it against our boys, and not many did it against our boys. And Root could get there, you know, as you've said, for the reasons you've laid out. You'd expect there to be a drop-off. A fall-off will be studied, but you'd expect there to be a drop-off as he ages. That's what happens. But he looks a spring chicken. He looks as good as he ever has. And, there'll be people who'll be sad if Root manages to take over Tendulkar. I'd say lots of people would be sad. But the thing is, the way that sadness is expressed online a lot of the time makes me keen to see it. And that's got zero to do with Tendulkar. That's just, it's pure brain rot internet pettiness that we should be trying to transcend in our lives, but we can't. We can't. And you're already seeing it. I'm not naming names, he goes, but there's a lot of sentiment out there from senior people saying essentially what you've got to understand about records is, you know, and if you ever see that prefix or something like that prefix, you know that you're going to get somebody trying to take down a record or to cloud it, you know, to add an element, to add shades of grey. And I've seen already people suggesting, well, you got to understand the amount of tests that Root play. You know, the amount of tests Root plays means that he's more likely to get a record than other people who've had to play. Blah, 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 you know, like and on and on it goes. You know, and all the while Ponting's flying up the front. Oh, man, he's probably going upstairs. Business class for Punter is just like that's twos. And Joe Root's going like thumbs up, Stokesy. I'm good to go. I'm just batting and I enjoy playing. Right. And all the while we'll just be on the internet just going, blah, 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 you know, like, here's why my guy's the best and my childhood remains sacrosanct. It's about defending our childhoods and our own validity and value as people online.
Yes.
Dorito crumbs or fruitcake crumbs.
to that point, Pezza, last night I watched Happy Gilmore 2. And
no reviews. Don't say, please, no reviews or spoilers.
Okay. So Ponting is Happy Gilmore, the first one in 96.
Okay. Thank you. Anyway, Ollie Pope, are we sucked off enough?
Hell of a player.
What a player. What a player.
Yeah.
Hasn't quite done it. Yeah.
It's going to be the biggest against our boys summer in the history of mankind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the best thing is, none of us play. None of us play.
None of us play. And everyone who's done well in cricket has also failed at places and has their weaknesses.
Yeah.
You know? But for Root, he kind of like, all of a sudden, he's sort of conquered everything but one thing. And now he's got a chance to conquer that thing. And then what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how many batters have got to the place where, like, man, if I make 100 in this place, then I'm good to go.
Yeah.
I'm unimpeachable.
Exactly.
So, I would also suggest, they've flown Ponting in for the human pinata element, and he's taken it magnanimously up the front, etc. I'd say he's, you know, he's okay, punter. He's got a summer ahead of him as well, where he might be able to say a few things. You know what I mean? He's I was about to say, keep talking.
Yeah.
05, it's all good. Yeah.
Yep.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Anyway, but all good, and Joe Root, what a player. I want to talk about India. Firstly, shout out to Ollie Pope, a well-arranged 71, and you know, looked busy, looked in control. He's amassing numbers. He'll play in the Ashes. Jacob Hu, you know, it was only a couple of weeks ago. People were baying for the hot young blonde thing, and now Ollie Pope's, you know, doing the business on these surfaces. Mm-hmm. Yep, nothing to add. Good. All right. Stokesy as well, just as if we stick with England. Stokesy 66, so Pfeiffer with the ball, 66 with the blade before dropping off the field, I suppose, or before having to exit the field owing to what turns out to be cramps, etc. But, you know, people are worried about the rig, aren't they? He goes, I know. He comes back out. He comes back out to, you know, send a message. The Northumbrian Knight, you know, I'm here, and a rousing reception it was. Wonderful drama and captain, leader, legend John Terry stuff. But got the armband on. But
I thought Indy giving him a guard of honour was a bit much. But hey, there we go.
But you know, are we just looking at something in front of our eyes? We're like, the rig's got to be battling, doesn't it?
I think he gets so bored. I think he gets so bored that if he's not in pain, he needs to confect some pain. Like I think I heard NASA talking about this. His batting will improve if he's bowling well. So like NASA was sort of suggesting that, and NASA's opinion counts because he's done things and I'm just a dickhead on the internet, but his bowling will, because like he's a guy that loves to be in the game all the time, and yes, he's captaining, but like sometimes he's gonna have to drift through 100 overs just in the field where he's just changing fields and putting in funky catching positions and stuff. And now he's got his way to a fluent enough 66, and he's like, need something else now. I need another hit. So I think I'm cramping up. I'm going to go off. I'm going to scare some people. I'm going to come on to a rousing reception after a couple of wickets have fallen, maybe a bit of up and down bounce. Don't worry, the captain's here. I'm going to come out in knight's armour, and I'm going to crunch a cover drive, third ball towards the end of the day through the covers, and we're going to think, you know what? I'm okay. I could be hanging by a thread here. I'm bored now, but I'm back. You know? So
I love it.
That was my read.
No, I hadn't thought about it that way, but it's spot on. It's just script writing. It's pure script writing. It's soap. He's just a man of soap, and we love him for it. Yep. So Stokes 71 red, I think. Is that right? And
77?
77, pardon me. I've taken some off him.
77.
India. He goes, so a wicketless first session. Cam Bodger's pace was down, if that's even possible, from the second evening.
He was playing backwards at one point.
Shout out to Washington's Sundar's drift, Tokyo drift styles. That's good. Took a couple of poles with that. Boomer's gone for 100. guys are limping. Siraj is, you knew there was trouble when Siraj has thrown buzzers early. And you're like, okay, here we go. Benny Hill music stuff. So these are tough tours. England's piled on 500 without Harry Brook or Jamie Smith even damaging them. Is it? I mean, Jadeja gets root, but is it all? Is it 1 foot on plane stuff for India? He goes, is it Q in the rack, or can they conjure a heroic draw?
Mate, today reminded me of what it's like for any non-Asian team touring India for about a decade and a half. That's what it's just like. This is impossible. This is so hard. Like, the players you're playing against are so good in these home climes and conditions that it's just so difficult. And India have fought, and they've never really been ahead in any Test match except for the Test match they won. I feel like there's Headingley and Lords. They were close, and they never really got ahead. They never really took the chances. They've dropped so many catches in the series. I think in this Test match they haven't got the best of the conditions. I thought they did pretty well to make 360 or 358 in the first innings, given what the conditions were. And then it's just been sunny all day today. England batted magnificently 2 nights ago, to be 200 by the end of the play after fucking 30 overs or whatever. England have just played better cricket, but that's because they're the home side and it's just really hard to win away from home. I think you're looking at a captain in Shubman Gill who is still learning. Like India are facing a 9th loss in 12 matches, but they're going through a transition. They've got a new captain, and he should have bowled Washington Sundar more than he did today. I think that's obvious. They're also missing players in the squad because of injury. But there's just little things like I've noticed so many times in this Test match. Players chasing balls to the boundary, just getting there and flicking it back in play, and there's been no second man following with them. You see this all the time in one-day cricket. So England end up getting the extra run. They're not losing the series because England are getting they're getting 3 runs instead of 2. It's just a mentality thing of just those high performance elements you see in really, really good teams. And India, they'll be fine. They'll be, it's going to be hard to win there anytime anyone goes into 2-0 again, unless it's New Zealand. But it just looks like they're right behind it now, and that they haven't had the best in conditions of this Test match. They're going to get pumped in this game. So I don't know. All those elements look like it's pretty good conditions for England to pile it on.
Yeah, I think that's right. And when non-Asian teams go over to India, you're usually praising them if they're staying in a Test series, for 3.5 tests before finally giving up the ghost. It usually falls over well before then. Yeah. So it is, I suppose, it is fair play to India, but they've it looks like they've succumbed, and it looks like this tour is starting to look long. Guys are starting to get injured. Selections are starting to get funky and weird. Kuldeep Yadav sitting there, you're wondering what it could be, but. Yeah, you're exactly right. I think they've gone okay, but it's they're cooked now. So it looked, England will try and do it by an innings. In India are going to have to bat in deteriorating conditions, and an unassailable 3-1 lead looms. Hashtag AskTGC, he goes. So we put it out to the faithful, and just a couple of comments coming in. Great physicist asked if Stokesy is good. So that's just, again, we're hard to please here in Australia.
Yep.
Alistair Cook's firm and masculine jawline says, "Why does Stokes cramping make my dick feel funny?" Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, I think we've explained that, haven't we?
It's just wounded warrior stuff. I mean, it's heroic. Everything he does is heroic. Coin toss. He could do a coin toss with a paper cut, and we'd be thinking, "Fucking hell, this guy's amazing." How does he do it?
Love it. Winnipeg Super Pig just has a Simpsons screenshot there, and it says, "There'll be no Indian view count. I'll tell the pay pigs." Sam Constance Markovics, sorry, I don't know what that is, but it says, "Session without mentioning '05 Ashes challenge impossible."
Yeah. Well. I mean, this is. If you're an England fan and you've got Ponting flown in, to commentate on his second best record being passed. You got history of 05 Ashes knocking about 20 years, all this kind of stuff. You got guys, celebrating what it was like for them when they were there in England at that time. It's all a big summer of like, how good are we going? And Australia is a distant memory. Like, English people they won't be thinking about what it's like to turn on the TV or wake up in the morning and have that sinking feeling of looking at a score when you wake up. You don't need to worry about that right now. Right now is your summer, Yeah. Schooner Score is having a fucking legendary summer, We've had guys in the Wimbledon Royal Box. That's been good. The Euros are going fantastic. The Lionesses are doing the business. Joe Root's piling on runs. Stokesy's back. This is nothing but England's summer, and we are just the Washington Generals to the Harlem Globetrotters.
That's so true. You got Big John, boshing in the comments of Lord's videos.
Generational run of Bosches.
Yeah. And I quite like this. Actually, on that note, I quite like the idea of flying in the person whose record is being surpassed to commentate. It's going to be a hell of a watch when Sachin does it on Sky for Joe Root. I welcome that.
Yes.
I welcome that. It'll definitely happen. But
You mean Gretzky?
Okay. Help me, Popey Tun. You're my only hope. Says. Today I watched a man with a full calf tattoo of Claudio Ranieri shout, "Fuck off, Burma, stop chucking it," to poor Jasper at fine leg. Then Siraj did a Ronaldo celebration at 1 for 100, causing my crow's feet to dig ravines deep into my skull and protrude out the back of my head. Do I like cricket or just Joe Root?
See, I thought with this one, that Joe Root has spoken about how he's not a numbers guy. He doesn't focus on the numbers. He's not about the records. He wants to desperately win an Ashes in Australia. And on the other side, Siraj wants to do the Ronaldo celebration in Manchester. So, this is how pro athletes go. They go about it differently. There are different ways to enjoy your cricket. And today, Siraj has had one of his greatest days. There's no doubt about it. He got to do the thing that we all wanted to do, Old Trafford.
To be fair to Siraj, I would call it a muted Sue. It was a muted Sue. Definitely dreamt of analysing that kind of thing as a kid.
2025, baby.
And anyone yelling things like that out to Bumrah can get in the bin, frankly. Let's just be clear about that. That's really bin stuff.
I actually feel a bit... just because Bumrah was so amazing in Australia, England just haven't seen that. I mean, he's been completely neutered on these decks.
Yeah.
He hasn't been able to
I think
put
in the
together.
same, it's England's summer and they do this stuff very well. I think they know that they might be waking up at Christmas with the bright hue of Brisbane or Perth and going, shit, I've been here, here we go again. Yeah. And I think they also know that Bumrah's good.
Yeah.
But it's their summer and it's their rules. So play on.
Mm-hmm. Spirit of cricket.
Yes. Billy Poohbag says, the thing you need to understand is with the amount of cricket they play these days, he'll go past in 30 tests.
Well, glad to be part of that train.
And there's more stuff on Siraj's Sue. Might be one of the worst things I've seen on a cricket field. The buzzers and celebration. All-time Siraj day. Here goes his phone bill. Says, looking forward to the next Anderson Root Trophy. See, this is what happens. Yeah. This is, you sing when you're winning, and England is winning. They are singing. That is their want. That is their right. That is their need. The swings and the roundabouts will be forevermore. One day they'll be in India. One day they'll be in Australia, and unlikely they'll be singing, though they might. And they've got hope at the moment. He goes, it's a record-breaking day for Joe Root. Mohammad Siraj is doing his thing. India's 1 foot on the plane, day in the dirt stuff. So it's all England today, and they should enjoy it.
See you tomorrow.